Well, it has been an incredible journey since sitting at my breakfast table at Claridge's on September the 8th, 2009, when I just happened by chance in the middle of my business day, waiting for a client to arrive, I just happened to glance at my paper, my International Herald Tribune, which I always read with the Times, and I'm a great newspaper reader all my life, and I always read many different papers if I possibly can, glance through them, and I glanced at my Herald Tribune, and on the front page was this story that I've mentioned earlier, which was a scoop, which said that the steel was available and nobody knew it was there. It was in a hangar, and they were going to release it. And I thought, well, immediately we must get it for London, because it said and abroad, across America and abroad. Of course, there are 1,300 pieces of World Trade Center steel going up across America this weekend, and 6 countries abroad, but we are the only European capital, possibly the only capital city in the world outside of the United States to have it. It's the largest piece, I believe. It's monumental. It's 28 feet tall, and it weighs 4 tons. And everybody stood up and applauded when it was unveiled by Boris Johnson, Mayor of London, on the 5th of September. The reaction, everybody says it's an amazing piece of public art, remarkable. But of course, what you're looking at hasn't been created by an artist, it's been transformed. And let me explain. These 3 columns, joined by this central panel, are exactly as recovered from Ground Zero, from the debris of Ground Zero, by the New York Port Authority in the weeks and months following the attacks of September 11th on New York City. Our artist Mirando, who's from New York herself, is a New Yorker, a Japanese-American steel artist, volunteered her work to us. And she has transformed by polishing that central panel, which was as rusty as the rest of it. Nothing has been created other than exactly as found from the debris. But she's polished that central panel as to make a reflective panel, to reflect the air, the light, the trees, the grass, the birds, children, life.
9/11 has been pretty much packaged and commercialized in America. And when I got here, this is very moving, and just from a artistic point of view, it's quite a powerful piece of artwork. It really is.
I think this makes it more real for anybody, and that because as for me today.
It's an incredibly evocative lump of steel. Those iconic images that we saw on that day, and as the towers fell, and just as the firemen and the emergency services were clearing up, and that grey dust, and sticking out of that grey dust, and the debris, and the destruction, and the death. These pieces of steel standing there like a very proud fingers up to who had ever done this.
In New York, the museum director of New York, I believe, who's running the memorial and museum in New York, refers to the artifacts in the World Trade Center as ugly beauty. I understand what she means. It's a very emotional experience standing here, I find, and many people had tears in their eyes. It is not a memorial. There is a memorial in Grosvenor Square for the families, and that is their memorial. But this is for everybody else. This is for our children. This is for children and their children to see what happened that terrible day, so they can see that it wasn't a video game, it wasn't a fantasy, it wasn't a horror movie, it was reality. It was the murder of 3,000 innocent people. And this is what terrorism does. It destroys. These columns were beautiful steel straight columns. The top of this one column, those ribbons of flares are 7 feet long. Imagine having peeled a steel banana. That's how that happened. Since we launched it here on Monday morning, and what a wonderful day that was, because it's the end of a 2-year journey for me. And on Monday morning at 10:30, there were 200 people here, and the weather forecast said it was going to pour with rain, and the sun shone and the sky was blue. Very much like the color of the sky on that day in 2001, on the 11th of September, that incredible blue sky. It's quite remarkable. The sun shone, there were 200-300 people here, and Boris Johnson came, and with great enthusiasm, he's been a great supporter of this project from day one. He unveiled the artwork. you've got to remember the reason we've brought this here is to be the symbol, the focal point for our education program, which we launched again on Monday, created by the Institute of Education, world-renowned Institute of Education, London University, who've spent the last year developing a program to be taught on 9/11 to all British schools about the events of that day, the causes, the consequences. And it's being taught in freely available to all secondary school children in the UK as of Monday through 9/11educationprogram.co.uk. Any teacher can download the materials. There are survivors' testimonies of first responders, emergency personnel and so on. But also a very robust academic program which is taught across, it can be taught in the history curriculum or in the art or English or citizenship or religious education. So it's a very robust academic program, probably the finest in the world outside of the United States. We're very proud of it.